Hey guys, Mystic here, and I am back with the analysis video today. This is a lot to go over, so if you don't want to miss Deltarune stuff in the future or any other updates, then be sure to subscribe. It's quick, easy, and you can subscribe at any time. But basically, I'm just going to get this started because it's a lot. So the first thing that a lot of people noticed here were that every single one of these images, every single image and GIF throughout this entire post, besides this last one of the Green Room, the next Dark World, it says Chapter 4 in the file name of these. So it's kind of interesting that none of these, despite Chapter 3 obviously seeming to be the one they would have more progress done on, it actually turns out that all of these images, most images here, are from Chapter 4, which has led me and others to believe that, like, really Chapter 3 will be entirely that Dark World inside of Chris's house, because if it wasn't, then, you know, they would obviously have Light World stuff to show and regular Castletown stuff to show as well. But obviously that isn't the case, so it seems like Chapter 3 will be almost 100% Dark World. So yeah, another little thing right now is that the blue guy here in this GIF is actually from Chapter 2. He appears outside of the town hall. I didn't know this, thank you to the commenter who said this in the last video, but yeah, he's from Chapter 2, not a new character apparently, So the thing really of note here, though, is that the police station is closed, and since this GIF is most likely from Chapter 4, it's pretty safe to assume that we're right in assuming that Undyne has been actually taken to the Dark World in Chapter 3. Or at the very least that some police arrived at the scene and, you know, just kind of fell into the Dark World. I don't want to bank on it being Napstablook and not Undyne, because I think that Undyne could run the police station by herself. I don't think it would need to be closed. But hey, it's technically a possibility still. The last thing that I'm going to say about this is that it is interesting that it's raining. We haven't seen any other kind of weather in the Light World yet, so it could be interesting if this is perhaps like a potential plot point. Maybe people need to stay or want to stay inside today, or the day of Chapter 4 for whatever reason. It's going to be interesting to see if this actually plays a role in the story. I don't know why they would randomly make it raining, I don't know. Maybe it's just to kind of throw us off, but yeah, it might serve actually some kind of importance in the plot later down the line. And now, I know that a lot of people have been interested in this, like, shadowy figure on the right side here. So, originally, I thought this would be a silhouette of, like, a character that, you know, would appear in Chapter 3 or 4, most likely Chapter 3. I thought it'd be, you know, kind of a silhouette to avoid spoilers, but the fact that they have a little spot for his mouth there makes it seem like this might actually be the actual design for the enemy, and that they actually are just a shadow. And while it could just be a silhouette and they just decided to put the little mouth line there for whatever reason, it is interesting that the Shadow Mantle will be a part of Chapter 3's secret boss. So if this person really is like a shadow of some kind, perhaps they could be linked to, you know, the method of getting the Shadow Mantle, or like a replacement for it, because Sham says it's kind of like broken or whatever in Chapter 2, but this guy could be really interesting in the future chapters if he really is a shadow and not just a silhouette. The only other thing that kind of makes me think that this is an important character and not just a regular enemy is because they're on stage with Task Manager and Sweet Captain and Cakes, and those are both important characters in Chapter 2. I mean, not like super important, but like, you know, mini-boss kind of levels of importance, you know? And so that might mean that they actually are an equal level of importance in Chapter 3. And so now we have this Dark World image, which we can only assume is the Chapter 3 Dark World, and it's very interesting because it shares the same kind of dynamic that Chris and Azriel's room has in Toriel's house. So yeah, we can see that the couch on the right side is ripped up or damaged in some way, and the right side of the counter has, you know, cobwebs at the top there, while the left side is pretty much completely devoid of damage of any kind, you know, kind of like how Azriel's side is much neater, more full, and Chris's side of the room is, you know, devoid of any trophies or anything like that. And the other two things which are basically confirming this to be Toriel's house as a Dark World are the cacti and the TV. The cacti are, I believe, literally in Toriel's house, I believe, like, in the hallway outside of Chris's room, and obviously the TV, as everyone knows, is in the living room. And so, I'll just be honest, this really does look like a TV-themed Dark World. This looks like, this room looks like a backstage of a TV set. I mean, you got the stars everywhere, the doors kind of look like, you know, staff or like actor doors there. It just really does look like the backstage of a TV show, and obviously the TVs are there. So I know this really does seem like Toby is wanting us to think that it will be a TV world, you know, Mike will appear and be the TV guy, but it almost seems like he's leading us too far in that direction for it to really be what's going on. I mean, maybe, but it really does seem like this is a red herring, but everything in this image does point strongly towards at least this area of this Dark World being really TV themed. So, hey, I mean, maybe Mike, like, you know, is a real character, and, you know, will be the TV themed guy. I don't know, maybe. But again, it's leading us so strongly in that direction, and I think Toby knows what people think will happen in the next chapter, that he's kind of putting this in as a red herring. I'm just throwing that out as a possibility. Maybe it is just exactly what people think will happen, but knowing Toby, it never really is. So, the other interesting thing about this is that the mouse is there from chapter 2, which I actually did ask my friend about this, and he gave an interesting explanation, and that it's actually that, you know, Azriel has a computer with a mouse on his side of the room. So it could just be, you know, that mouse, like the real-life mouse being converted to, you know, a Dark World mouse here, and it would kind of explain why it's here in Chapter 3, despite these enemies originally appearing in Chapter 2. And the last thing that I think a lot of people missed on here is actually the lack of a detail, which is the party members being in this room. For every other image that we see, it's not just an empty room, we actually see Chris, Susie, and whoever else in that room, like it's actual gameplay. But here, we see that there is nobody in this room. They purposely did not want to show the party at this point in the game. So what I'm thinking is that Toriel or Undyne or whoever else is supposed to be like the new party member for this Dark World actually is supposed to be in the party at this section, and so to avoid showing that and revealing that, they kind of just took the party out entirely. It could also just be a random decision, but I do think it is really odd how this room in particular is the only one to not feature any party members whatsoever. So I do think that one of the new ones will be present in this room, like at that point in the chapter. But that's really all I was able to analyze, like, really concretely, and I think I was pretty on with my analysis here. So let me know what you guys think of this, if you disagree or agree with me on anything here, and yeah, be sure to subscribe for more Deltarune content. Don't miss it, there's a lot coming up, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.